in the next Gogopreneur episode. We are here. Literally just landed San Antonio, speaking at Build, interview Glenn Sanford and Michael Valdes. I was supposed to interview them tomorrow. And just as I landed, I got a text message, it's today. Way backstage. So we were just backstage, got my questions, talking about last minute questions, interviewed the billionaire.
And here's our panel, Mr. Glenn Sanford and Michael Valdes. Come on! No introduction for these guys.
I can't believe I have this opportunity. I came to the US all the way from Transylvania, Romania to build, and we are at Build, right? To build my American dream. I came to EXP to build a team and to build an organization. And even though I knew it was the best decision I made in my career to come to EXP, I never saw this. So my reality currently is better than my wildest dreams. So shall we get started?
Oh.
Thank you.
I think there will be, and this is a combination between revenue share, equity, and production. I believe that we'll have 50 to 100,000 agents in EXP that will be millionaires because of this model.
What an opportunity. So thank you so much for everyone for coming today. Thank you so much for the panelists for sharing your thoughts and your knowledge and your past with us so that we can realize that you are just a human, right? Connects us all together. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Welcome to Gogopreneur. Okay, so it is almost 12 o'clock. I'm speaking at 3. I need to change. I need to do my hair. I need to do my makeup. And I need to practice my questions, which I have them printed. They are pretty much ready to go. They just need to choose which questions I'm allowed to ask. And that's it. We're going on big stage.
Here's your questions. You'll address, to each one. So glad you'll tell us about, how on the earth so you're amazing.
It's like my own words.
Yeah, right. That's right. The flow.
Yes.
So with the timing, we'll have a clock.
Okay. This is Glenn when I usually.
Yeah, you're the leader of this, right? So, and this will be easy for you because they'll be talking.
And then
To do is just kind of look at the time left. Yeah, it's huge. What you'll do is we're going to nip this is the final question regardless. So you have to hit 10. But if your time is like running out, then you skip. I think a deadline. We have 25, so we can skip. Right here, 7, 8, or no. They're all throwaway questions. They're all great. So if you're ripping through it, then they'll then go to 7. They cut 8. See what I mean? Just manage your time to where they can spend. We want to spend at least 3 to 5 minutes on this last question. It's the most important question. And so you're the moderator. So just now you can go prepare yourself. This is what you wanted, and we should have this earlier. Thank you for being flexible. Yes. And then we watch you on text, because then you come to talk to Whiteboard.
Thank you. What's up? We're gonna inhale some food because I didn't eat. Watch it, because I didn't eat anything yet today, and of course I don't want to eat too much, so I'm gonna eat a little bit,
just so I'm not super hungry, but I'm still sharp. My brain actually works best if I am hungry. And so I'm not gonna eat too much. And then we're gonna go get ready, or we're gonna come down, and then we're gonna practice with Glenn Sanford and Michael Valdes. And then we go live at 3 o'clock on a big stage in front of thousands of people. So I guess I should look for my questions. Well, they still gave me some sort of freedom, right? Like I can still like vary a little bit. It doesn't have to be this exact same words, since English is not my first language, right? As long as the question still means the same thing at the end, I can put it in my own words. So, super excited. Let's do it. Let's interview a billionaire. I'm ready. Dress is on. I'm as ready as they come. Okay, so I think I'm ready, Max. What you think?
Beautiful.
Good? You can do this? You know, you fix my makeup.
I think that the English word is stunning.
Oh, it's just some others. Yeah, hopefully that. Okay, so we head backstage again. I sit down with Glenn and with Michael and kind of go to the questions, you know, and then you go to stage. Okay. I think I just got to do this.
Not Gogo.
Oh. This whole time I was fine. So I want them to fix my makeup a little bit. Okay. Should we wait for Michael?
Yes. Well, I know.
Like, what now? We start that? This is my before, and we're gonna see the after. Okay, my face is on. Ready? Good.
Did you know that you and me can be business partners? If you're a licensed agent or broker anywhere in the US or in 24 other countries, you have a chance. So here is the opportunity that I want to present to you. I want you to jump into my calendar. I want to have a heart-to-heart conversation with you about what's going on in your real estate career, how long you've been in it, what you have achieved, where you want to go, maybe you haven't achieved yet. And I can show you what the model is here at eXp, why I switched my business over to the company 4 years ago, how it changed my life, what I was able to achieve. And then in return, if you like what you see here, maybe you decide that you want to bring your business over to eXp, and that would make you and me, if you chose me as your sponsor, be business partners. You're going to never, ever owe me anything. You're never going to cut me a check. We don't owe each other anything, but we become business partners. So my knowledge and expertise in this industry is yours. You're going to have me as your business partner literally on speed dial. And my goal is to be able to help you, and in return, you help me. If you are maybe not happy at the brokerage that you are with, I want you to give me and eXp an opportunity. So all you need to do is jump into my calendar. The link is going to be somewhere below, or maybe a QR code on the screen.
somewhere here. Click it, jump into my calendar, and let's see what's going on in your career. Let's see if I can help you. And if I can, and you decide to bring over your brokerage to EXP, I would absolutely love that. I joined the company 4 years ago. I started what we call a downliner organization at EXP here, Team Gogo organization. We call ourselves Team Gogo International Family of Agents because we are a family of agents. We train together, we refer to one another, we feed each other's families, right? We truly stick together like family. And this is the opportunity that I want to invite you to. I want to invite you to be a part of us. If this is something that you would like to do, if you would like to do real estate with us, the Team Gogo organization, the International Family of Agents, we would absolutely love to have you. All you need to do is jump into my calendar and the rest is history. We go from there. So hopefully you decide to join me. See you in my calendar.
We have, okay, the panelist, and now the panelist, the person that's going to moderate the panel is someone with one name, like Cher. It's Gogo. And here's our panel, Mr. Glenn Sanford and Michael Valdes. Come on. No introduction for these guys. Woo! Thank you, darling.
All right.
Hello.
Hi, everyone. Woo! Excited? I can't believe I have this opportunity. I came to the US all the way from Transylvania, Romania to build, and we were at Build, right? To build my American dream. I came to EXP to build a team and to build an organization. And even though I knew it was the best decision I made in my career to come to EXP, I never saw this. So my reality currently is better than my wildest dreams. So shall we get started?
Oh.
Thank you. Thank you. So Glenn, tell us, who were you before 2009, before you thought of this idea of EXP? Like, who is Glenn?
Yeah, well, I was running a team-based brokerage. So prior to that, I started as a real estate agent in 2002. I ended up starting a team in 2004. By the way, going off script here, one of the people on my team was actually my dad, who actually is here in the front row. He actually sold more than anybody else on the team, and he decided to retire for some reason.
I'm sure your biggest cheerleader.
But prior to real estate, I was a bit of a technology entrepreneur. I'd started countless businesses. I think I lost count at around 17. Most of them, of course, crashed and burned. Otherwise, I'd be doing that versus doing this. But I was always enamored with, where technology could make things more efficient, and I was enamored with sales and marketing and just business entrepreneurship. So that was kind of my kind of thing. And then I ended up, I'd also been involved prior with at least 5 different network marketing companies. And that was formative because it was what I felt was the most democratic comp plan that existed for the lay person. And they didn't have to go through the brain damage of setting things up, but they could take advantage of the systems that were there. And they also brought out the most enthusiastic people would join those organizations. And so it was a really interesting dynamic. So those were things that that had kind of been in my universe that shaped things prior to the launch of EXP.
And how on earth did you come up with the idea of EXP?
So one of the things that I struggled with as a team leader, running a real estate team and running a team-based brokerage, was basically the revolving door of agents. And so if you run a team, you have a revolving door of agents. It sort of goes part and parcel with running a team. And I wanted to figure out a way to not be having to deal with that continued challenge. And one of the things I thought about the idea of what could solve things for them. What are they looking for? What are entrepreneurial agents looking for? Which I've identified as an entrepreneurial agent. And I said, what would be the set of ingredients that would be necessary for me to want to be an agent at a new brokerage? And so technology, well, no bricks and mortar, which was two reasons. One, I couldn't afford bricks and mortar in 2009. But two, from the time I got in real estate in 2002 all the way through 2009, everybody was talking about the virtual brokerage, being totally mobile and all this stuff. I mean, everybody's talking about it. Nobody did it.
When did we get Wi-Fi?
We got Wi-Fi in that same range, like in 2005-ish, 6, 7-ish. But it was the high-speed internet into the home through cable internet that made the big difference.
The reason I'm asking, because in my mind, I'm like, you thought of not having physical locations before I even knew what Wi-Fi was.
We were still using fax machines back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I faxed offers in 2011. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 8 trucks.
I do. Yeah. I remember one in my dad's car.
There you go.
So no physical locations and technology, but how did you think of, like, I love the idea that we all belong to one another, right? So, because it keeps that tight community. How did you think of that portion of EXP, or why?
Yeah, so one of the things that I recognized, one, I'd been involved in some other companies, that network marketing specifically, and there was a certain dynamic around community that would take place. But there was another piece that wasn't solved yet, which was they're very much all about their organizations and growing their stuff. And I'd also been involved with a number of public companies back especially in the 80s and 90s. And I thought it would be really interesting if we were owners, and that could level out sort of the competitive nature of sort of, we'll call it groups inside of network marketing companies. And so that was another piece that I thought about even back in 2009, but we made that a reality starting in 2013, 2014. And that really changed the game. So everybody can win when anybody wins, which is kind of a really unique value prop that didn't exist.
Love that.
That's for sure. So Michael,
Go.
tell us your real estate journey and how you got to EXP.
Oh God, how did I get here? Let's see. So I was a banker for 10 years. I was director of Deutsche Bank, and I was in banking during 9/11. And of course, the world changed then, and so everything changed in banking. Risk management laws changed. Everything that I was doing with structured products changed overnight. And so I lasted about another year and a half or so. And so it was 10 full years in banking. And then in 2003, I decided I just needed a change. And I moved from New York to Miami. And I just started buying properties for my own portfolio. And decided to get licensed just for my own portfolio. And then in 2004, through a series of circumstances, met the person who had bought the first Sotheby's franchise in the United States, which happened to have been in Miami. And we were introduced through mutual friends. And the guy was he actually had the first reality show ever for real estate. It was called $1 Million Agent on TLC in 2004.
Wow.
And his name was Carlos Justo, and was just like really an insane person. And high school dropout at 16.
See where you got
That's
it.
what I got it from, right? Yeah. High school dropout, sold every major celebrity their home in Miami, from Madonna to Stallone in the 80s, sold the Versace home when Versace died. And so I met him through mutual friends, ended up running that team of 8 people. And we were ranked in the top percentile in the state of Florida. And then the second year in, so in 2004, 2005, I decided I wanted to run my own team. And so I created my own team, and that first year, we were ranked in the top 1% in the entire state of Florida, my team was. My average sales price on my team was $7.5 million at that point. And so my first sale was $6.4 million because I didn't know how to sell a $300,000 place. I just didn't know how to do it.
So you kept for 2 years?
So I wish I would have known you back then. God damn, what a, anyway. In the crash was actually my best year ever in real estate was in 2009. And I actually started dealing with hedge funds that created vulture funds that was buying bulk properties from the bank in Miami. And Miami and Vegas were the ones that were hit the worst. And so then in 2010, decided to shift over to the corporate side. And I moved to London to run the Sotheby's European network. Lived in London for 5 years and then came back, became senior vice president of Realty, ran all 6 brands across their global expansion, and then met this man in January of 2020, and my world changed. And it was...
How did you guys meet?
So I was actually on a panel that Jason Gessing was on, and Jason Gessing and I were on this panel together. I'd never met Jason before in my life, and we were just talking about global real estate. And Jason, and those of you in the audience that know Jason, he's a very, very, very humble man. And he was sitting on the stage, and we didn't know each other. And people were asking him questions about global expansion, and he says, "We're just in 2 countries. I don't feel qualified to answer this. You should probably just ask Michael." We had never met before. And then people were talking about disruptors, and there was somebody from Compass that was on the stage, and I said, well, really, the only true disruptor, I think, is EXP in this industry. And after that meeting, Jason said, want to have some coffee? And 2 months later, we were supposed to meet for like a 20-minute meeting that ended up being 2.5 hours, and we were just creating, what would an EXP Global look like? And here we are.
I love that agent attraction line. Write this down. Do you want to have some coffee? It works, so we should all do that, right?
Yeah.
So Glenn, back to you. If you were starting today and you had to lay like a strong foundation for your business, not assuming that you're going out of business like 80% of realtors, right? You're laying a strong foundation for your business, taking consideration today's technology and AIs and the chat GPTs of the world and the market. What would you do? So I'm taking you back to your agent cap.
Yeah, I think you go with your strengths, and I know my strengths. My strengths are internet marketing. Mine would be going back to SEO, PPC, inbound lead gen, and if you look at actually the core platforms that we have as a brokerage, you see KV Core is an offering that's right in the wheelhouse of every single agent. Well, part of that's because we negotiated the first enterprise deal back when it was conversion because the platform works. Many of you know how powerful that platform is and still works really well today. So for me, I'd still go back. If I was starting today, I would be going right back into generating leads into the platform. If I didn't know how to, I would then take advantage of going into Making It Rain or one of the partners or Realty.com or something like that to create inbounds. But again, my strengths, internet marketing and also working with internet consumers. It's a different skill set, as many of you know, sort of figuring that out. But once you have it, it's you can scale around that. So, how do you create more leads that you can personally handle? That's the first name of the game. Lead gen is first, sales is second. If you're a great salesperson, you have no leads, doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But if you're a really bad salesperson, you generate tons of leads, you can actually get better at sales. So for me, it's like, how do you create a whole bunch of inbound leads? Obviously, you've got you and Mike Sherrard and so many people using social as the way to generate leads and creating a different, that wouldn't be me. That's just not my style. I'm so introverted, but for me it'd be generate inbound leads, create a whole process, a franchisable service model around how to process those leads and turn them into closed transactions and scale.
She's so good at social, she did a video while you were answering the question.
Well, he said you have to do what you're good at. I was like, oh, hold on a minute.
But that's
I have
okay,
to
no one
I
saw
have to
that.
do my job, yeah. But I use social, and then I do a swipe up for a KV Core link, right? So the goal is to take them back to KV Core. The goal is with internet marketing is to take them up on one page and take them where you want them to go, which is KV Core, so you can capture them. So Michael,
Gogo.
actually, I'm going to call you Mr. Worldwide. I heard someone calling you that. I know your official title is Chief Growth Officer, but I thought it was so fitting when I heard someone calling you Mr. Worldwide. So next question, what dragon did you have to slay to make it to your next best level? And I'm going to stop you there for a second because I see Veronica in the corner of my eye, and this kind of goes along with that. I heard her say one time that different levels, different devils. So what dragon did you have to slay?
So at 26, I was diagnosed with colon cancer. So that was 30 years ago. And you are not supposed to be tested with your own mortality in your 20s. And it's the idea that you don't take another day for granted. And you want to do as much as you can every single day. And it's the legacy that you leave behind. It's because of that. So, you know, it was, Gary had sort of said it on the stage yesterday when you were saying that you go through something and it becomes your greatest gift. And it truly was my greatest gift because it was the fact that tomorrow's never promised.
Yeah.
And you want to live every day as though it's your last.
I did not know that about you.
If you do.
Glenn, what was one of your biggest aha moments and what did you learn from it?
Biggest aha moments. I've told the story a couple times before, but one of the first jobs that I had in my early 20s, I just turned 21, I was a stockbroker in Las Vegas. And I actually smiled and dialed airline pilots lists. So I was, and so I had the whole pitch down, and I had to make 100 phone calls a day to send 10 investment packages a day to open one account. Those were the ratios, and that was basically the program. For a variety of reasons, that occupation didn't work. The brokerage firm that I was working for was not. Have you ever watched the movie Boiler Room?
I was just thinking of that.
I worked there. So it didn't match up with my DNA, so I left. But a number of years later, I ended up getting tapped on the shoulder to work for AOL to manage their financial bulletin boards and chat rooms because I was actually a really good stock picker. And so I started to post, I started to manage the financial bulletin boards there. And they started promoting me on the front page, you know, go into the chat room on Sunday night, talk with Glenn Sanford and a bunch of other people about stocks. And I was going to university at the time, and people would ask me how I knew so much about stocks. And I said, well, I used to be a stockbroker. And people said, hey, if you ever get your broker's license again, or your stockbroker license again, let us know. We'd love to open accounts with you. I'm like, I need to get my license again. So I did, and what ended up happening is my phone just rang off the hook. And so I made actually, the aha was this whole thing about the internet and at that time online services was marketing had forever changed fundamentally in my mind at that point in time. That technology changed everything. And I actually made a religious decision, and I truly mean this, religious decision, never to cold call again. And it was literally everything that I did from that point forward was all about creating inbound leads in anything that I did. And when I did reach out to somebody, there was already a common connection. So I avoided all of the rejections and all the hang-ups and all the other stuff that I went through. And I'd done other sales as well, but that was probably my biggest aha of how much technology changes everything in terms of marketing. I mean, of course, now you go forward and we're in this AI revolution, which is going to be another game changer and people are going to have huge aha moments. But it is still about how do you make the inbounds come in, and then how do you process those inbounds. So that was probably my biggest aha around just business in general. And that fundamentally shifted me to everything I did from that point forwards to harness technology for marketing.
I always used to joke and say it's against my religion to cold call. So you're on the same page. So the next couple of questions we have to, I never cold called, and hopefully never comes to that. Next couple of questions, we have to fly through it. Michael, who has been your biggest inspiration?
So I'd probably say my dad. So my father was Cuban. He was Batista's chief legal counsel, and because of that was a political prisoner in Cuba that was released during the Bay of Pigs in the prisoner exchange program. And so he never obviously talked about that. So when growing up with someone that had that history, from a child's lens, you just sort of see a person who's distant. And I actually got to know my dad at his funeral. So it was everybody else that eulogized him that actually gave me the full picture. So at 36 was when I actually first got to know my dad. And so I met Glenn's dad earlier today, and it was moments like that made it very special. So thank you for sharing your dad with me.
Oh, I'm sure your dad is looking down at you. So, Glenn, I am dying to know this. What is your most important habit that formed you who you are? Like, what is that you do that it's really what moves the needle?
I think the thing that I do best is I know how to break down problems. Michael has been inundated with how many mind maps over the years? I've literally been mind mapping since probably maybe the 1990s. And I discovered mind mapping as a really great way to break down a problem into its simplest parts. And once you can make it simple enough, then it's actually easy to solve. And so for me, anytime I'm hit with something that I need to work on, the very first thing I do is I go to MindMeister and I create a mind map.
I can attest to that.
And I break it down. Everybody else is like a deer in headlights going, what's this that he just did? But they can tell that I already understand it at probably a more fundamental level than most people through other problem-solving breakdown processes would get to, because it's sort of, I just understand how to quickly break it down, how to break it down into component parts. So that's probably the one thing, if you call it a habit. I probably create at least 3 or 4 mind maps a month, and then I'll go back and I'll go and iterate and iterate and iterate. A bunch of them I'll throw away because I'll find why that won't work, usually while I'm trying to solve for the bigger challenge. And if I figure, okay, it won't work right now, then it's like no sense working on this.
So I might get thrown out of...
We'll be on a call. I swear to you, there'll be 3 or 4 of us that are on Glenn's team will be on a call. And we'll start talking. All of a sudden, Glenn will go silent. And then he says, let me share my screen. And I swear to you, in like 4 minutes, he's done a mind map on what we were talking about. So I can attest to this.
That's awesome. So I might get thrown out of the company for these suggestions, but raise your hand if you would love if Glenn explained on a live Zoom maybe how to actually mind map. Sorry. If I go missing, you all know what happened. Okay, now this is the most...
Careful what you all ask for, by the way.
I would love to learn that. So this is the most important question of the day. What is both of your visions individually for the future of EXP in the next 5 years? Who wants to go first?
Want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
Go, Michael.
Well, we've sort of said, we've thrown some numbers out in the next 5 years. We're thinking of 50 countries, 500,000 agents in the next 5 years, which usually gets applause, but I guess not today. All right. All right.
I was snapping it in my
I thought I might
head.
have stuttered or something. I needed a mind map. So
I was mad, but how I'm gonna get there, yeah.
it's, but it really is the idea of just sharing what we've done. You know, we have some amazing ideas that we've introduced just very recently, right? The idea of the Boost program with independent brokerages. We just introduced this last week, and we have about 60 brokerages that are in queue. It's amazing. It's amazing. That run the gamut from 50 agents to several thousand agents. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening in the short period of time. The growth team has been incredibly inundated. They have not stopped with meetings as we went through this. So it's really exciting times what we have. What I think is really incredible is the idea that agility is one of our core values, and the fact that as the largest independent real estate company in the world, we're still able to be agile, to shift with market conditions, and to offer opportunities for the agent to continue to grow their business. So that's exciting.
That's awesome. Glenn?
You know, I'm thinking about where we're going to be in 5 years. And in 5 years, we're going to be sharing through revenue share. And I know that's, you know, we build a big portion of the reason why this exists is because of the way revenue share has worked. We'll be sharing $1 billion a year just in revenue share alone. We'll be sharing somewhere around $300 million a year in equity to agents and brokers every year.
We are retiring.
We will be the number. I don't even. You know, I'm sitting here actually trying to calculate the number of millionaires that we're going to create in this model, and I can't actually give you a number that doesn't sound obnoxiously large.
Well, here is how I like to hear it so that I can imagine it, because if I can imagine it, I can have it. I'm a firm believer, so I personally would like to hear it. Who else?
I think there will be, and this is a combination between revenue share, equity, and production. I believe that we'll have 50 to 100,000 agents in EXP that will be millionaires because of this model.
Woo-hoo! What an opportunity. So thank you so much for everyone for coming today. Thank you so much for the panelists for sharing your thoughts and your knowledge and your past with us, so that we can realize that you are just a human, right? Connects us all together. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You. Awesome.
Can we take a selfie? Because it wouldn't be me if we didn't do it.
Thanks, guys. All right.
Billionaire and the Chief Growth Officer of the company, Michael. I'm excited. Okay, now I can get out of the clothes and go spend time with my Team Gogo family.
Woohoo! For all the products and services featured in this episode, pause the show right now, scan the QR code, and I will see you on our website.